Welcome back to another episode of Yarn Talk with Princess Tigerbutton. It's been a minute. Things have been pretty crazy in our life so far, and it's been a little while since we've been able to upload regularly. You may have noticed a couple of videos came out in quick succession. I wanted to upload the things that we have recorded before that didn't get a chance to come out, and then I can give you today's update. So we'll get right into it. Okay, for those of you that are seeing this for the first time, welcome. My name is Jaime. I'm the creator behind Princess Tigerbutton, a crochet business. And for those of you that are already subscribers, welcome back. Good to see you again. I know it's been a little while. If you like what we do here, I try to do weekly recaps of what I've been working on, market vlogs when I go to shows, and other content as it arises. I'm hoping to record a little bit more frequently. The real honest truth here is I have ADHD, and executive function is a struggle for me. So the things you might hear people talk about that, and you might think, oh, well, it's just laziness, and I suppose maybe to some degree it is, but at the same time, things that don't bring me dopamine tend to not get done. It's a struggle. I'm definitely, and in no amount of, oh, it's only going to take a few minutes and then you'll feel better once it's done. I know these things. You know these things. But that doesn't help my brain get any closer to getting them done. So a lot of the menial tasks running the business and social media, which is something I'm still not very, good or comfortable with, tends to fall down the wayside. Not to mention, we've actually been pretty busy. Like, we packed our event schedule this spring, and so I've spent like every free waking moment lately just crocheting and being at markets. So it's been a pretty hectic time. I'm hoping that I can get back into recording regularly. I may have to change up my format. Initially, I was recording this week's makes on Fridays and showing you the whole lineup of what I'm making. And so I'd still like to do that. Fridays, especially before an event, are becoming very hectic. So that may not work for me in the long term. I may go to what some other creators do and do more of like a weekly roundups where I record a little bit throughout the week and then just mash all that together into one video for you. Now where you can kind of see what my plan is and you can kind of see what I ended up making. And it might be a little bit less of a burden to do it that way and piecemeal, and then I can just plug everything together. We don't have to do a ton of editing in these videos. I'm not here to be polished and fancy to begin with, but I don't think there's a whole lot of things that I say that I want to take out. I'm trying to be real here. And this is supposed to be kind of like, a peek behind the curtain in terms of what running this business is really like. In that instance, what has this really been like? It's been hectic. Trying to think when the last time. I haven't had any market videos come out. My younger son was going to edit one for us and see how that goes, because he's just a little bit better at video editing. He has his own YouTube channel. But he's also been busy with school, and he lives at his dad's house, and he's getting ready to graduate in June. So I'm just going to kind of raw mash those videos together and get them out for you. So we really haven't seen any market vlogs since February. Initially, February was our Valentine's Day weekend. We were at we talked about this before in the video that you're probably going to see coming out before this one, is that we were at the Emerald Square Mall for the card show in February and March. And both of those events were 2-day events with tons of vendors, which are still mostly cards and collectibles. And we did very, very well there. We broke our record for a single event and for single day this past March on the 14th, 15th. And we broke our event total. We almost made $1,000 in one event, which is pretty exciting. It would have been a new record for us. But hey, the year is still young. Last weekend on the 28th, we were at an event for the Downtown Pasco Neighborhood Association, which is their Easter fair. They had a Easter egg hunt set up outside, and then the kids could come in and use the eggs they collected to buy things from the bunny shop, which we donated a bunch of plushies to, and they were super excited for that. All of the plushies went. I mean, I gave them all small stuff, nothing huge, but it made me feel good that all of them, it was well received, and they were excited for the donations, and the kids really loved it. And we still did pretty well. I mean, for what it was, there wasn't a ton of traffic, and I think a lot of the folks were there just for the free event. And that's really what the DPNA does, is they provide a lot of free community events and low-cost things for families to do. So they're doing a lot with a little. So I'm really happy, even though it isn't like the biggest profit. I'm really happy to do events with them. Not only are they great organizers to work with, but we just have fun. We just have fun at these events, even if we're not making a ton of money. So I'm really excited for that. I didn't film a vlog for this, A, because we were just running around crazy that morning, and B, it was really close quarters inside the church, and I didn't want to have other people getting uncomfortable seeing me record, and there was a lot of kids around, so I didn't want to get kids in the video. So I don't have any videos for that. We made about 3 times our booth fee. The booth fee was $35. Plus I gave them a bunny. I'll put a picture up of the bunnies I made. I made one to sell and one to donate. And those were really cute. They were the Beans the Bunny pattern from Snuggle Beans Crochet. This is part of her sploot series, and I honestly hate that word. I hate the word sploot and the way people hate the word moist. It just makes me twitch. I can't stand it, but that's what the series is. It's my first Snuggle Beans pattern, and it was really well written and a lot of fun to make, and they came out awesome. The eyes I got off of Amazon, they were just 35 millimeter eyes with like a shiny vinyl disc on the back. I can see why people spend so much on big safety eyes and why so many crocheters are into also painting their own, because those big eyes, the sinker eyes, really add something to that piece. I couldn't get over just how cool it looked with those eyes. And it was a little out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad I did it. And I will definitely be looking forward to making more Snuggle Beans crochet patterns, because they were really fun. So there's that. So between the $35 and the donation, and then the donation to the bunny shop, I mean, I shelled out quite a bit for this event. And so no, I didn't make all that back in money, but I made it back in good karma, I guess. I'm not worried about that. But they love working with us. We like working with them. And so I look forward to doing other events with them throughout the year. They do a block party in the summer in August. So hopefully we might be able to get into that. And a pumpkin fest in October. And then the Victorian Market in December, which we did last year. And while it was freezing cold, we did really well money-wise. And it was a lot of fun with Santa Parade and the fire trucks and the kids and all that. So we'll be looking forward to doing that again. So this weekend, we are back at Plain Ridge Racecourse, and you'll see a market vlog soon on that event. We were there March 1st, and it did not go well. It was a really slow day. We woke up, this was right after people were digging out from the blizzard of 26, so seeing more flurries in the sky that following Sunday, I think a lot of people were just like, nah, and stayed home. And then, yeah, it was just, I don't think a lot of people were going to bring kids to the casino. It wasn't really billed as a kid-friendly event, even though you didn't have to walk through the casino floor to get there. And there's no live racing in the way. So we're going to be back there again, because I had already booked this show before the last show. I wasn't going to do the March 1st show. And just so happens when the organizers had gone to the bowling alley my sister is a manager at, and talked to her about putting up flyers, and she plugged us. And they said that they were still looking for vendors. And when she showed them our Instagram, they said, please have her apply. So, I couldn't not. But it was a lot of money for the space. It was like $100. I know they only charged me $75. They didn't charge me the full $100, because the $75 was supposed to be an early bird fee. So I paid, so maybe did I pay? I'll have to double check. Or I paid $100 because I paid for a 10 by 10. Either way, yes, I have a 10 by 10 space. And I think last time we kind of did poorly because we were right next to the 3D printers with all their dragons and their junk, and everybody was just beelining for that table and ignoring us. So hopefully we are not next to those people again. But this time around, I'm going to be doing my setup a little differently. And I'll just kind of block it out as best I can. And I'm going to be bringing some of the more general merchandise. like the dishcloths and a few blankets and stuff. So I'll have something for kind of an older crowd, although this may actually bring more kids. They're supposed to have the Easter Bunny there for pictures, and this one is actually going to be benefiting autism awareness through the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation. So that might also bring, I believe they may have some live music or something, so this may bring some different crowd. Either way, we'll be prepared. But I'm not holding out a lot of hope. I don't think I'm going to be doing more events at this location after this unless things really go gangbusters on Saturday. And that too, this is going to be on a Saturday versus a Sunday, so that might have an effect, especially being, but same thing day before Easter. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. To finish recapping our March, we were at the card show again on the March 14th, 15th, and then on the 21st, we were back at the mall with a different organizer, with the Tally Marie Foundation, and they were the same organizers we did right before Christmas at the mall, and we did well there, and we actually did pretty well on the Saturday for this market as well. It was a decent turnout. I like these organizers. They have their stuff together. They made things pretty smooth, and they did improve a lot between here and December. But there were so many people, because they have a Facebook chat where they send out information, and then everybody's commenting, and then so many of these people were really complaining about, like, oh, I didn't see any traffic, I didn't make any sales, and like, yeah, I didn't make a ton of sales, but I made like 7 times my booth fee. So like, I didn't want to say anything because, like, here I am doing great, and people two booths down from me were making 2 sales, and they're like, I'm never doing this again. So, it's kind of a crapshoot, and it's always a crapshoot. It's a gamble for me too. I mean, I had a couple flops this year, like as I've described. So, you win some, you lose some, but you learn and you keep notes in these things, and you don't go back to the ones that don't make you money. And so that was kind of what 2026 is for us as well, is a little bit of a learning experience to learn what organizers do we want to work with, what kind of venues are good for us, and just kind of seeing where we fit in. Later on this month, next weekend, we're back at the mall again for the card show, and that's going to be our last time there for a few months because we're booked into other places when it's happening. So hopefully we do well again at the card show, and that'll give me a little money and a little breathing room, because the 18th and 19th we'll have off. And then the last weekend of this month, we're going to be at Western MassCon. And that is going to be a huge crapshoot, because not only is it in Springfield out west, so we're going to have to stay overnight. In fact, I'm going to try to email the showrunners. They've offered us no information between... I signed up in the Artist Alley in October. They've sent out no information. There's barely been anything on their social media. They've added a few voice actors, and they've got cosplay contest entries up and panel submissions up. So I don't know what's actually in place. So I'm going to email the showrunner and just see if I can get him to give me a feel as to, like, where we're at. Like, how are we doing with ticket sales? Like, what's the expectation? We don't even have any information in terms of how are we going to set up. When are we going to set up? I need to know if we're going to be setting up the day before, because then that means we need to stay in Springfield for 2 nights versus 1. And that's cost, and add that to the $200 we spent for our table. Those are things we have to consider. And this is a first annual con. So I have zero idea what the turnout's going to be. I don't know what the advertising's going to be. I'm going to try and push it in my social media this month as well to try to drum up some interest as best I can out this way for whatever that might be worth. But this could be a major flop, and I'm a little terrified. But it could also be pretty busy. I mean, we could be getting in on the ground floor of something that's really cool. I don't know who the other vendors are. I don't know if I have any other competition as a crochet vendor. I'm also not bringing licensed characters. So other than my blue Stardew Valley chickens and some Minecraft colored axolotls, I'm not even really dipping a toe into a fandom. But I'm going to be bringing some of the things that I'd like to bring to Rhode Island Anime Con in June. Some things that are kind of anime adjacent, but aren't necessarily tied to any one program. So I'm thinking, like, definitely some kind of Asian food toys. I have to restock a lot of food toys this summer anyway, so I'll definitely be looking at that. I've got a pattern for a ramen bowl that I suspect might actually be AI. I haven't really sat down to look at it, but maybe I will make a video on that we will inspect the pattern and see if it's actually AI, and if so, like, can I turn it into something that's usable? I'm not going to link that just because if I do believe it's AI, I don't want to lead you astray. But that might be some content for in the next couple weeks, or maybe on the weekend when I'm off in a couple weeks. I sold a rice ball, so I'm down to one. So I definitely have to make a bunch of those to restock. I might make some dango. I have some patterns for that. I have some patterns for some little dumplings. So we'll definitely have some food inspired things. Celestial Homebody released a poll pattern of little animal critters that are drinking boba tea. I promised her I was going to make one drinking a Dunkin' iced coffee, and I'm still going to do that. But I definitely will also make a couple with boba teas, just because they're so darn cute, and I think that might do well at either Western Mass Con or Anime Con. Or Comic Con, for that matter, in November. I might rethink my small makes. Obviously, the baby whales sell like hotcakes, so I'll be bringing those. Little frogs, the chicken nuggets are definitely going to do well. I may skip the gummy bears, because those are really more for babies because they don't have safety eyes. And I'm not sure yet what I'm going to put in its place. Mini chickens are something I'm going to be making, I think, anyway, for later in the year. So maybe I'll make a few of those in some different colors, or at least to match the Stardew Valley colors, and have like little keychain size chickens. I might do like a sakura flower or something like that, just to, things like that. Maybe a little I might make some panda bears. They won't be little panda bears, but like, yay, big panda. I definitely got to do at least one red panda. And we'll go from there. I'll have to think a little bit more in terms of what would be, anime inspired without necessarily being from a fandom where I'm going to run into some trademark issues, because I definitely don't want to be doing that. If you see me squinting, it's because my left eye is really itchy, and I suspect it's really nice weather out here today. It's a little hazy, and it's like 70 degrees. We are finally out of fake spring. We had 70-degree weather a couple weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago, and then it went from 70 to 30, and because Mother Nature was just like, ha, JK. And so now I think we're into actual spring, and the pollinating has begun, which means I'm going to have a great time if it's going to affect my eyes, because that's like the one symptom I hate the most. I'd rather have the stuffy nose than the itchy eyes. But anyway, that's my plan for the immediate future. I'm definitely going to try to record more often, just to kind of keep up. I assume that the algorithm might like that more, and you guys might like hearing from me more too. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I may just do some little vlogs and then mash them all together into one video, depending on how big they are. Or maybe I will just release more often during the week. But, in case you're wondering what I'm working on right now, I am working on an egg to go with, where'd she go? To go with this mini chicken in progress. This is the Oak and Marlowe mini chicken pattern. It comes with the big mama chicken and then this little mini baby that I'm going to close up and stuff when I get home and put a little tuft on. And I'm making some little eggs. She has a separate pattern to, not she, there's two of them. And it makes a little egg and a top of an egg, and then the little chickie sits inside it. I'm going to make some in white. I'm going to make some in different colors because it's Eastery. I don't know how much that's going to sell this weekend, but I think they'll have some appeal beyond Easter anyway. I am doing 2 markets in May, actually. They're going to be at farms. So I think we might have some fun with those there as well. So it won't be a total bust if I don't sell them this weekend. But that's what I've been working on, is doing up some of these. Now this pattern originally called for an 8mm hook, and I feel like, to me, that's gigantic. I'm using a 7 and I already feel like that's pushing it for me. My tension has loosened up over the years. I used to be a very tight crocheter. Good Lord, I need caffeine. So I used to have to use bigger hooks to get this, but I think 8 would be too big for what I want, and I'm also concerned I was going to use safety eyes. You see, I used a safety eye in this one, and I think if I go with an 8mm hook, I would have had to go with a much bigger eye, and I think it loses its cuteness, and I'll have to embroider a little beak on the front. And so I'll put those up on Instagram, or I'll show them off in my next recording once those are done. But I think this might be kind of a cute little mix and match. I'm not going to do a purple chicken and a purple egg. I think I'm going to do a bunch of white eggs with some colors, also some pink and some blue, and I'll do a bunch of traditional yellow. But I'm going to do a couple of colored eggs and maybe do some white chickens or some, funky variegated chickens, and leave it as a little bit of a mix and match. I have some fur to make little white tufts, but I also have some pink fur to make little pink tufts. So I think I'm going to play around with color combos on that and see if I can't make something that people like. So for right now, that's about all I have. This car is getting very warm. Like I said, it's like 70-something degrees out, and I kind of rolled up the windows a little bit so that you wouldn't get so much noise. I'm actually in the parking lot of the grocery store because I'm going to be picking up my son in a few minutes. And then I will be heading back to the house where I can turn on the fans and open the windows and get some fresh air out before everything turns green with pollen. So, like I said, you're probably going to see this video along with all of the other content I've been sitting on. I'm just going to try to edit. I probably won't edit it too much, and I'm probably just going to push it out as much as I can. Try to get those market vlogs out there so you have things to watch. And we will go from here. Again, if you like what we do here, the easiest way to support me right now is hitting that subscribe button, liking, commenting, sharing with your friends. I did have a couple other things to mention. You're probably going to see another video where we now have a brand partnership with Dubby Energy Drink. They've offered us a 10% off code that we can share with our viewers, so I'll have that in the description. The code is PTB. And that can get you 10% off of their powdered energy drink mixes. They are sugar-free, no fillers, and no jitters. So if you're looking for an alternative to buying expensive cans of Monster or Rockstar or Red Bull or whatever, this is something to consider. And you might say, why, Jamie? Why is a crochet business getting a brand deal with an energy drink? And that's honestly because I bleed caffeine. If I'm not drinking iced coffee, I'm drinking energy drinks, so it makes sense for me to look for an alternative because it does get expensive. Even if you were only having one a day, that's what, $3 something a can versus a tub that was $40 and you're going to get 10% off. So you're looking at $36, and you only need and that gives you 30 servings. So you're looking at a little over $1 per day. So I like those savings, and I'm happy to pass those savings on to you. So, and the other piece of news is I have purchased a domain and I have started a Shopify store. I am still in the process of getting graphics and everything prettied and getting some listings up. But we will have PrincessTigerbutton.com. Yay! Not an April Fool's joke. I will keep the Etsy open because I do still see some traffic from that, and those prices are actually going to remain a few bucks higher just because Etsy takes so many fees out. But I will definitely be encouraging customers who find me over there to also come find me at PrincessTigerbutton.com, and I will have more information for you when that goes live in terms of having listings up and having everything nice the way I want it. I'll be making an announcement on Instagram, and I will also make a post on here when that's ready to roll. So if you've made it this far, I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!